Imagine unlocking a secret so powerful it has the ability to change your life forever. Now, picture this: a simple mindset trick that can not just guarantee, but promise success. What I'm going to share with you today is going to help you unlock and remove the chains around scarcity and the trap of limitations so you can really embrace your full potential and attract all the abundance and wealth that is your birthright. So are you ready to discover the key to unlimited abundance? In this video, I'm going to be going over the Law of Detachment and how you can leverage this law to create the world and the reality of your wildest dreams. So if you're ready, let's jump right in. Most people tend to fall in the mindset traps of scarcity without even realizing it. You see, we live in a world where we are encouraged to desire, to want, to live in that bigger house, to drive that new car, to get that certain education, to be surrounded by a certain group of friends. And I'm not saying those desires are bad, but I think how we approach the desires is what the problem is. You see, the more that you are obsessive about these goals, the more that you are too much in the expectation of this is going to make my life better if I have this, you're actually creating some dissonance between you and the goal. See, this kind of desire is actually working against you. So it's almost like if you are trying to attract a person, and if you're trying to be all up in their field, you're trying to be in their DMs, and you're just being a little bit too aggressive towards them, what's going to happen? They're going to repel you. It's the same way. It's almost like you're trying to court the universe and your desires. And the more that you try to overextend yourself, the more that you are being too aggressive about it. I mean, there's just kind of an ick around it. That's what's actually going to repel you from attracting the thing that you want. So what happens is you get stuck in this feeling of needing this, into like, my being is reliant on this, and you're trapped again, and you're in this kind of loop of, I want this, but it's not coming. This is bullshit. I'm going to give up. And then you're back in the scarcity trap. So a lot of people who have problems manifesting, who have problems setting that goal and really imagining it and allowing it to get into their field, is one of the biggest ways that people tend to fail and to fall on their face. But what I'm going to share with you around the Law of Detachment is going to help you break out of that trap and to get right back into the game and manifest quickly and efficiently and to your heart's desire. You see, the Law of Detachment teaches you to let go of your obsessive thoughts around this idea and to just allow and trust the process. It really helps you let go of any expectations, any false timelines that you give it, or ways that it needs to show up for you. Those are the things that are hindering your creative process. See, when you release these intense feelings around it, you're then allowing the universe to show up in a way that is serving to you. So then you have all these ways and all these possibilities that this desire can flow into your life and into a way that's going to be surprising, and it's going to be super beneficial, and it's going to come in a way that's actually better than you can ever imagine. By you expecting a desire to show up in a certain way is what's going to make things crash and burn for you. But the universe has a way of getting things to you, and the universe is way bigger than you. It's way smarter than you, and it knows exactly the easiest and fastest way to get your desire to you, but you have to step out of your own way. Another aspect of the Law of Detachment is that it helps you just go with the flow. It makes you feel more confident, and there's a faith part of this component as well. It's almost as if you have to give it out and give it up and then release it. Don't think about it. Don't expect it. Be grateful for it and allow yourself to almost forget about it. Now, I'm not saying to completely ignore it and write it off. What I am saying, though, is, respect the process, Don't think that this is not going to work because you'll receive that. Just think to yourself, this is working. It's happening in the background. I'm grateful that it's going to show up. And I'm so excited to see how it shows up in the most unexpected way. And when you live from that perspective, things will just start opening up into a new stratosphere of creativity and possibility. And then wonder and magic and all these amazing things actually start creating itself for you. When I was a creative director for an ad agency, I was tasked to create a commercial. And this was my first project, so I was really eager to show that this company, made a great choice in hiring me, and that I had the chops and the pedigree to deliver something that the agency as a whole would be proud of. The only thing I had to work with, though, I had a cap in my budget, and it was $10,000. Now, if you're familiar with the world of advertising and creating videos and commercials, $10,000 is nothing. I mean, there's TV spots that can be made for like $100,000, $200,000. So I was working with a limitation. But instead of fixating on this tight budget I had, I just let go of that, and I said, I'm not going to let that hinder my creative process, and I'm just going to come up with the best idea, no matter how much I think it's going to take to make it. So I storyboarded, I wrote a script, I created animatic for it, and really visualized like this thing from beginning to end. This was like my magnum opus at the time of my life. And this was back in 2015, 2016. So this was a time where I felt like I had a lot of proof as a creative. So I put so much time and energy around this idea, and I was like, I'm going to make this no matter what. I'm not going to let this limitation of budget hinder my creative process. So I had a presentation with the client. I shared all the animatics, the script, and he loved it. Everything was signed and ready to go. So now that I had approval, then it was like, okay, now what's this next step? How am I going to get this thing produced with such a low budget? So I shopped it around to a few video production houses, shared everything that I've created, and got quotes. They were coming in $45,000, $50,000, $60,000. And I was like, oh my God, am I going to be able to make this? And everyone that kept telling me, I was like, is there any way we can do this cheaper? And they're like, you don't know what you're asking for. This is super complex, and there's no way anyone can pull this off. And I remember hearing that, and I had a choice. It was either I crumble and let that kill this project, or I let that fuel me, and I let that be the fire that actually gets this project through completion. So what I ended up doing is I was like, okay, fine, I'm going to step away. And after a couple days, after that experience, I was like, I'm going to sit for this for a couple days, and there's going to be a way that this is going to happen. I'm going to get some idea. And then I just forgot about it. I actually started working on another project that was on my desk, and jumped on some meetings. And after a few days, I got this idea, like, hey, what if I were to approach this from an indie filmmaker perspective? What, instead of trying to hire a huge production house to get this idea across the finish line, what if I hired someone that has more of a guerrilla kind of skill set? So I remembered a buddy who creates movies. These are kind of like low budget films that are actually on Netflix. Like, you ever seen those videos on Netflix? It's like the really bad horror movies that you just kind of ignore. Back then he created those kind of movies. So I was like, I'm going to reach out to him, and I'm just going to see what happens and just talk to him. So I called him in. He came into my agency, came into my office, and we talked about the idea, pitched the whole concept, and he said he loved it. And I said, how much money do you think it will take to create this? And he said, I can do it with $7,000. I was like, are you sure? He's like, yes, absolutely. Let's do this. So we went to production. We had a rocky road, not gonna lie, getting it created. When you're doing things at a lower budget, when you're doing things more of a guerrilla style, you kind of have to go with the flow. And so we made it happen. We presented it to the client. They approved it. They loved it. The spot started airing on TV, and everyone at my agency thought it was one of the best projects they've ever created. So then fast forward a few months later, there was an award show. And so we decided to enter this TV spot into the local award show. We're up against all the production houses that I quoted for this project. So I got to share this project in front of everyone. They got to see it actually executed with a shoestring budget. And you know what the best part is? We ended up beating all of those agencies, all of those production houses with this one guerrilla style TV spot. So this was my experience using the law of detachment. It happened in a way that I couldn't even imagine happening. I couldn't even imagine this spot winning all these awards. I can imagine creating this production value with such a shoestring budget and still get high value out of it. And it was because I let go of the process. I just showed up in the best way that I knew how. And then I just kind of released and was like, okay, the universe, you're next. The ball's in your court now. What idea, what things can help me move this to the finish line? And the way that the universe communicates, it can be from your own ideas, it could be ideas from other people, it could be signs, it could be something you listen to on the radio, it's something you see on the TV. Like, it has no filter on how it gets to you. The important thing is that you're receptive to how you receive it. You're receptive to how you open yourself up to all the possibilities, to all the channels of its communication. And if you're able to do that, you're able to create things you can't even imagine. I promise you. So not only am I using the law of detachment in my creative process, I also use it just everyday life, whether I want to attract a car or attract a new home or live in a new location. This is a universal technology and it will work with everything. So thank you for tuning in with me. Thank you for watching. If you did find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe, please hit that notification, and share this video with someone you think would be beneficial from watching it. And if you do like these videos, I would recommend you to even leave some comments. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you have any suggestions, if you have any videos you'd like me to share. I'm totally open to receiving all your thoughts and all your recommendations. So thanks again. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next video.